Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Do a quick reaction to the other big game Saturday afternoon, noon Eastern window, 11 Central. Listen, I know that America's eyes were on Texas and Michigan, but at the same time, I mean, the Arkansas-Oklahoma State game was one of the wilder games that we have had in the earlier part of the college football season so far. Oklahoma State wins 39-31. And at the end of the day, that is going to be the big story on a national scale. Big 12 team, ranked. They're a team that many believe will be a contender for the college football playoff with the Big 12's automatic bid. They survive, they get the win, and in 3 months from now, if they win the Big 12, doesn't matter how pretty, how ugly it was, just that Oklahoma State got the win. Here's the thing, though. I actually think the more interesting side of this game is on the other side. Arkansas, we know what was at stake for this team, for this program, for Sam Pittman. You have a team that, as I just said, preseason top 25 team, many believe the best team in the Big 12. You have them on the ropes. You completely dominate them for large stretches of the game, and you find a way to lose in the most crushing fashion possible. Again, final score 39-31 with extra time, of course. We went well past regulation in this one, but just a devastating loss in a game where you put up close to 700 yards of total offense. And I do want to talk about it from the Arkansas perspective because it was wild. It was frustrating. And I know we got a lot of Arkansas fans that follow this channel. It was everything that has frustrated you about this program for a while now. The sad part was it just started out so good. Listen, I did watch a little bit of that Arkansas Pine Bluff game in week 1. And I joked. I was like, Taylon Green, Heisman Trophy front runner. And I was joking, but early in the game, he looked every bit what you could ever imagine. Like if you were an Arkansas fan looking for the best start you possibly could, Taylon Green had about as good of a start as you could ever imagine. I tweeted it first quarter, early second quarter, whenever it was. I said Bobby Petrino was working Oklahoma State like a speed bag. You know, when they dropped into coverage, run up the middle. When they're clogging the middle, Taylon Green's throwing it over the top. Taylon Green making plays with his feet. Taylon Green making plays with his arm, in the pocket, out of the pocket. And it was a game where they just had complete control for essentially the entire first half. And again, absolute domination. 351 yards of total offense in the first half, 77 yards of total offense for Oklahoma State. Arkansas was in complete control of this game. The problem is really, it was just dumb stuff, right? It wasn't always just turnovers, but penalties, turnovers at the worst possible time. Obviously starts right before the half. Again, Arkansas is in control. You have that pick six return for a touchdown, and that was where you just started to feel it slipping away. Second half, ultimately not all that much different. Jaquindon Jackson, who has been awesome through a game and a half, has that fumble deep in your own territory that leads to an Oklahoma State touchdown. And all of a sudden, it's game on. The defense is, the Oklahoma State defense is getting a couple more stops here and there, slowing you down here and there. But you just had so many chances to win this game. Pick six, as I said, fumble deep in your own territory. You have the situation, the late in the game, 21-21. You go for it on fourth down. You got a 6'6" quarterback, and he can't pick up the first down. By the way, final drive of regulation for Oklahoma State. You have the penalty on the pass interference. Now, listen, it was sort of negated because Alan Bowman had the dumb, taunting penalty after, but it still puts them in field goal range, allows them to kick the game-tying field goal. And then, obviously, in overtime, it goes without saying, you cannot take that sack like you did. And it's just a crushing loss. First of all, it's a crushing loss because you completely outplayed Oklahoma State. Listen, I know I already said the stat, but I mean, just listen to these stats. Almost 700 yards of total offense for Arkansas. 648 yards in total, 460 yards passing, 9 yards per completion. You average about 4.5 yards or close to 5 yards per carry when you have the ball. And when you're running the ball, you're running it all over them. They can't stop Taylor Green. By the way, on defense, you completely shut down Ollie Gordon. 17 carries, 49 yards, and you can't figure out a way to win. And listen, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be glasses half empty, because I do know that there is some positive to take out of this game, right? Listen, this is a game where you came in as a double-digit underdog. This is a game where, unless you really believed in what you saw against Arkansas Pine Bluff, now I thought Arkansas could potentially pull the upset. Didn't pick it, thought they could pull the upset though. But there was, if you're looking for a positive, there was nobody outside of the Arkansas fan base that thought Arkansas would compete in this game, win in this game, let alone largely dominate this game. And so if you want a glasses half full, the bottom line is, look, you were in control. You did have almost 700 yards of total offense. And of course, on top of that, you should have won that game. There's no other way to put it. So that's glasses half full. But the glass is half empty is there is also no excuse to lose that game. I know fans don't, I think, I don't want to speak for any fan or any fan base or whatever, but moral victories are tough in a game like that, especially when you know what is at stake. I was asked about Arkansas in August, in September to start the season. And I said, look, I think they're going to be better, but that schedule is so tough to start the season, and that schedule is so tough to finish the season. After you have UAB next week, next 3 games at Auburn. Listen, we're recording this little bonus segment before Auburn plays on Saturday, before Tennessee plays on Saturday, but you got at Auburn. Kirby Smart said it, one of the toughest places in college football to play. You get A&M in Dallas. Then you get Tennessee at home. And again, we're recording this before Tennessee plays against NC State, but Nico looks the part. That is what are the next 3 games after you play UAB a week from now. By the way, you close the season. Arkansas fans don't need me to tell you. LSU at home, Ole Miss at home, Texas at home, on the road against Missouri. And so this is just one you have to have, because it does not get easier with the schedule going forward. And so when you start to project out the schedule, if you can win this game, you have so much momentum going into the start of SEC play 2 weeks from now. Now your back is kind of against the wall going to Auburn in 14 days, in 2 weeks from right now on September 21st. And so it's just such a big game. You needed that win. And obviously it goes without saying, now's not the time that we have to have the big picture Sam Pittman conversation. But at the same time, this is a coach that is on the hot seat. This is a game that you just needed to win. And there really is just no excuse. And there is no moral victory, because ultimately you got to get bowl. You got to pick up this win, because it doesn't get easier. And if you don't get this win, it's hard to find the wins on the schedule to guarantee that you have the kind of season that you want. Now, again, you want to go glasses half full. You want to go positive. You want to go, we'll figure this out. Listen, if you do clean up some of the mistakes, let's be honest. You were better than Oklahoma State on the road. So does that give you a little bit of optimism at Auburn, maybe late in the year? Against Ole Miss at home, a good team, but Lane Kiffin is 0-2 in Fayetteville as head coach of the Ole Miss Rebels. LSU lost a few years ago against our, so like, I'm just rambling at this point, but it's just tough to delineate between, yes, there are positives, but it's hard to think about the positives when you lose a game that you shouldn't lose. 650 yards of total offense, 2-1 in terms of basically total yardage. You have the game in hand and you can't quite figure it out. So we'll have more on this game on Sunday night's Aaron Torres pod. We will be doing a full show on Sunday night, as we always do, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. And by the way, credit to Oklahoma State. They find a way to win. That would have been crushing for the Big 12, which is obviously looking for ways to try and get a second team in the college football playoff beyond their automatic qualifier. But that is a game. If you're Arkansas, it is just so frustrating, because you should have had it. You could have had it. You beat yourself. You dominated large stretches, and you don't get it. We'll be back with more reaction on Sunday night's Aaron Torres pod. Appreciate everybody's support. Talk to everybody.